questions.
Uh, Today I have questions from the book Instant Enlightenment. This is from chapter equality. It's like one of the chapters in the book, and in this one, they
What
say
reality? I'm sorry, I missed it.
it. So the question is from the chapter equality.
Equality.
Yeah,
Okay.
equality. And so it's basically like I think a couple of paragraphs. Let me read that, and then I'll ask the question to give more context.
Okay.
It says, in ancient times, there was an adept who told people, each of you has your inspiration. When you first determined to go journeying, you must have made this determination on account of life and death. Some may have aroused the determination to avoid misery, or because of the pressure of circumstances. In any case, it is called inspiration. Why? To get people to look at their initial inspiration. That is, if your original thought of inspiration has not changed, turning back to it is most powerful. This is the Zen for you to study. If you actually attain it, it is simply clear purity of mind. When you seek out teachers along the way and contemplate day and night, you are simply nurturing this mind. Then, when you have awakened and realized it, you will then see that it had not been lost even before you were inspired. The saint Ashvaghosha said of this, initial enlightenment is itself fundamental enlightenment. Fundamental enlightenment itself is unconscious, the non duality of the initial experience, and the fundamental reality is called ultimate enlightenment. It is also said at the time of initial inspiration, one attains true enlightenment, meaning first realize the fruit and the six perfections and myriad deeds of Buddhas are a matter of ripening. This is why I have you just investigate the initially inspired mind, and my perception is one with yours. Why not understand in this way? So my question is basically, so when I first started uh, basically looking into spirituality, I was going through like some health issue at that time, and I was really terrified of dying, of death. And Logically, I knew that the science doesn't have an answer, so I need to like find some answer in religion, some religion. So I went through reading a bunch of books from like multiple religions, but everything seemed very much based on faith, and there was like no way to really figure out what is true and what is not true, what is real and not real, because it was not evidence based. So I started from that place, and I also went through many uh, psychiatrists, therapists at the time who told me like a bunch of things, but then it all came down to not really knowing the answer to that question, which is what happens after death and what is death. So I was thinking that if that was the initial inspiration for me, and that's what they are talking about, what I can use from that experience that can help me now.
So, one of the points is that the first of all, what he's emphasizing is the initial determination for enlightenment, right? That's the first inspiration for enlightenment. Most people don't have that or get that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that must have been set up before you decided,
Mm-hmm.
because how else could it have arisen?
Mm-hmm.
So to say that you decided it is shallow understanding, because what are you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I totally get that. So like everything is dependent on the causes before that, and it can go into infinite. If I can just keep going back, it's gonna just keep on going back. So I can't say that I decided I was in a certain situation, and that situation led me to act out or act in that way.
Okay. So now what's the question?
So the question was like what I can use from that initial inspiration thing that can help me now.
Well, it's the same question. I mean, you were afraid of death because you didn't know what death entails.
Yeah.
And you're still asking what happens after death.
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, what happened before you were born? And that's the question you have yet to pursue. And that's the answer. That's the same question. You've had the same question all along.
So I was thinking about that as well. So like, what happened? Like, what was I before that? Before I was born, and things like that. And I think I still like feel the same way that it's not possible to concretely figure out what I was before I was born. I can speculate.
Oh, really? Says who? Why do you say that? Have you contemplated it enough?
Yeah,
I don't think you have.
Yeah, I have contemplated, and it's like whatever reasoning I can come up with, that will be bullshit.
Okay, what do you think you're made of? Let's say physically. What is your original? Do you share molecules with stars, for example?
Yeah.
Okay, so you come from the stars.
The matter of the body, yes.
Okay, and so where do the stars come from?
I mean, like if I look at the scientific explanation, it all started from Big Bang.
There is no scientific explanation. Physics has fallen flat on its face.
Yeah.
So when you say evidence-based, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no evidence-based for dark matter. Well,
exactly,
I suppose there is.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. Whatever reasoning I will come up with, where do the stars came from? Where does the matter came from? It will still be speculation.
Okay? You seem to have this very solid you, right? And you are going to decide what's real and what's not real. You are going to decide what's knowable and what's not knowable. And you are going to answer this question once and for all, right?
No,
but this you that you keep talking about.
No, I'm not. So what I'm saying that in my experience, whenever I have meditated or really like focused on who am I, the only thing I was able to get to was I have this like vague feeling of something that is impersonal, that is separate from the sensations or the thoughts that keep arising, and that thing is not connected to everything else. It's kind of isolated because I don't feel what happens like in someone else's experience. I only get to experience.
So you're going by what you feel, right?
I'm going by what I'm experiencing. What is my experience?
But you experience separation.
Yeah, I experience separation. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you experience separation. Okay. Now what are you made of?
So if I look at the physical body, it's made up of, at least the science says it's made up of matter, which is molecules, atoms, all those things. Quarks, yeah.
But then it's quantum mechanical, right? So we can't even say the quarks are there.
Yeah.
They may be there, they may be not. They're probably there.
Yeah.
So there's no, what's your evidence base then?
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying there's like no evidence to really say clearly.
Is there evidence for a material world?
The only evidence I have is the experience.
But you experience things separately from you.
I experience things separately from me.
Yeah, you say there's me, and then there's experience, things I experience.
The things that I experience or the things that I'm aware of are the happenings or the phenomena that keep happening, that I'm able to observe. And
what if we took you out of it?
What if you take me out of it? Like there's no one to experience, no one to observe.
Just experience. It's just experience.
But that me is always there.
No, that the you is an idea.
I'm not talking about imagine. Like I don't want to go into theory because we keep running over heads.
This is not theory. This is not theory. This is just reason. You're the one with all the theories. You have this theory that you exist separately than the universe.
No, I am being very practical. What I'm saying.
I know, but you think you're being practical, but you're not. You're being pig-headed because you're stuck on your theory that you is something real and tangible, and it exists separate from experience and from the objects of the universe.
So I'm not saying that I'm 100% certain that that's me. But what I'm saying is that is the experience that I am having, and that's the only thing.
Okay, what if we took the I out of it? Would there still be experience?
You mean the idea of I, or the thing that I am experiencing as myself? That thing.
What thing are you experiencing as yourself?
So there's this kind of a vague, solid thing that
solid thing.
Yeah, that I feel.
Does it weigh anything?
Does it weigh anything? I don't know how to weigh it.
Okay.
There's
Can
no way.
Poke it with your finger?
I don't have a way to poke it with my finger.
Can you see it with your eyes?
I don't have a way to see it with my eyes.
If I gave you anesthesia, would you still be it?
When under anesthesia, I've gone under anesthesia only a couple of times, and during that time I was dreaming, and during those dreams, that feeling of I was still there. Yeah.
Okay, so you're still going by your feeling, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can feel whatever you want. I can't do anything about that. But if you understand interdependent origination deeply, then this thing will look very different to you.
I think it's the same thing. Like, it feels so hocus pocus to
I know, because you don't understand it. That's all. You have contemplated insufficiently interdependent origination. And also, you say it's hocus pocus, but in India, the non-duality has been here for what, 4,000 or 5,000 years? And are you saying that this is just something that was invented 5,000 years ago and just happens to be true today? Or you think there's or that the people who understood things that way are lazy or stupid or just self-deluded, or what? Do you think that Atman is just a silly concept?
I mean, I can say the same thing about, these Hinduism texts I was reading many years ago, like Bhagavad Gita and like all these other texts. As I was going through them, it just seemed faith-based.
Okay, well, I'm asking you to drop your faith.
Yeah.
But you seem to have a faith in your theory about a separate you. Now, will you exist after you die? This you that you keep talking about.
It's not a faith. It's just the experience. That's the only
feeling.
Thing I have.
But answer my question.
Yeah.
Will you still be here after your body dies?
I don't know.
Okay, well then find the answer to that.
Yeah, but then the finding answer to that, which is all the things like contemplation things that we are talking about, they all seem very hocus pocus.
Okay, well then, you could say that, but I'm saying you sound a little bit retarded. How far does that get us?
I think it's the same problem. The reason why I was not able to trust...
You can't tell me about you before you were born. You can't tell me about you right now. And you can't tell me about you after you die. I think all three of those things are related.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that hocus pocus?
So I'm not questioning that. So I'm saying that I don't know. But what I'm saying that...
I know you don't know. That's what you started out wanting to find out. So find out.
But the thing that I'm saying is the process that I am following.
Which process?
Which is
the Taoist, the Hindu, the Buddhist, the Sufi?
Which is like the
scientific and the analytic philosophical one?
So the contemplation and these kind of things.
You know who might help you? Do you know Bernardo Castro?
Bernardo Castro?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you should read a couple of his books. What are give me the book titles for him and I'll tell you which ones.
Okay.
They're short.
One is why materialism is baloney. Analytic idealism in a nutshell.
That's a good one. Analytic idealism in a nutshell. Go ahead.
Okay, and then the idea of the world. Then the next one is more than allegory.
That's a good one too, but that might be a little bit too rich for you.
Okay.
Why don't you read that first one?
Which one? The analytic.
Actually, read Why Materialism is Baloney, which is a terrible title, and the other one about analytic idealism.
Okay.
Read those, and then we'll talk about it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So you think Plato's hocus pocus, huh?
I feel like anything that is not evidence based.
But what do you mean by evidence based?
Either it should be logical or there should be an evidence in my experience.
Well, this is totally logical. You haven't told me the flaw in the logic. There is no flaw in the logic.
The logic is that I don't know, and the logic is it seems like
no. That's we agree. You do not know, but you seem to act like you do know because you're stuck on this you, and then there's experiences that you have, and your feelings about your experiences. Now that's what I call being stuck logically.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of like Descartes. Do you know who Descartes is? Descartes, the great French mathematician and philosopher.
René Descartes.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. Therefore, I am. Mm-hmm. You're stuck where he is, man. That was like how many centuries ago? Mm-hmm. I think. Therefore, I am. That was a mistake. I mean, he was probably more sophisticated than that, but that's how people summarize it. So read some Bernardo Castro. Read some Western philosophy. Mm-hmm. And then let's talk, because, I mean, what you call logic, I call illogic.
Mm-hmm. So the logic of having, like, wanting to see the evidence in my experience is
Do you
illogical?
think it's evidence-based? But you still haven't told me what evidence-based is. In my world, evidence-based means it's crap. Evidence-based means a bunch of people believe it because they have some data. But that data, as often as not, is corrupted. Okay, and it also measures the wrong thing.
Okay, let me give an example of an evidence.
You don't have to do that. I'm a physician, for God's sake.
No, but if you are saying that all evidence is illogical, so I'm giving an example which sounds logical
to
me.
Go ahead.
So, like, let's say, right now I feel that I am bound by the body and the mind. So let's say if I'm able to experience someone else's body as well, like whatever experience they are having, I'm able to experience that as well. I'm able to go beyond the boundary of my body. Then that would be like a legitimate experience, and that would be an evidence.
So you're deciding the evidence is going to count.
Because the whole thing is about me being limited by my body.
Is it?
I mean, death is the death of the body that I was investigating about.
Well, then what's the question? You're dead, you're dead.
Sorry, what?
If you're dead, you're dead. What's your question? The way you're describing it, if you're dead, you're dead. So why are we talking?
No, but I also want to know that is that true?
You can't know that in the way you're trying to know it. You have to open your mind a bit and your heart, and you have to be less rigid. Mm-hmm. You can't clamp down on it like a dog on a bone. It doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. And you have to be able to use more of your mental faculties than just this kind of pseudo reason that you got from, school somewhere. Mm-hmm. And you have to expand your mind, my friend. Okay, I think that perhaps for you, some analytic philosophy, idealism in particular, would probably do you good, but it'd probably do you good to read a lot of different philosophers, frankly. Mm-hmm. But let's start with Bernardo Castro. He's a You'll like him. He's a computation guy, and he's a physicist. He worked at CERN. I mean, he's a very qualified guy. All right, then we can talk about that. Okay. But see, there's more than one way of knowing. And the way you're using it, knowing, is like very verbal, linear, or kind of, pseudo-mathematical. But you got to use other tools now. Okay. Now, did you look into what's his name? The Ruliad guy, Wolfram. Did you look into Wolfram? Wolfram. The Ruliad. Which guy? The math word guy? Yeah, he's a mathematician. No, I haven't read any of his books. I don't think you need to read him. He's very dense, but you need to get an idea of the construct. Okay, construct about. So it seems he's into computational intelligence. There you go. Or computational experience. Computational experience. The limits on that for people in our part of the Ruliad. Let's see what else might help you. Again, I think interdependent origination. If you agree that you're made of stars, right? At least the body seems to be made of stars, yes. So you keep making this difference between your body and you. Because I just don't know. That's why. Well, then why do you make the differentiation? If you don't know, why do you make that differentiation? I make that differentiation because I know that if I lose 90%... That's how you've been conditioned. That's how you've been taught. The body is one thing, the mind is another. It's very hard to imagine that consciousness does not come from the brain, for example. So, like, if we do that experiment where, let's say, someone loses their limbs or loses most part of their body except their head, they will still feel the same way about having themselves, like about themselves. That doesn't tell us anything about where consciousness comes from. Yeah, but then that tells that at least 90% of the body is not... Because their sense organs are located in their head. Their eyes, their ears, their visual cortex, all those neurological correlates, are located in the head. Yeah. So it doesn't help us one way or the other. Yeah, and I don't know if there was any experiment done to remove someone's head totally, and they survived. No, that has not been done. It can't be done because the head needs the heart. And the heart needs the kidneys. And the kidneys need the bladder. And the bladders need the urethra. And everything in the universe is like that. Everything. So, interdependent origination. You need to contemplate that long and hard and take it all the way back. So between being a star and having this body, what were you in between those two? Maybe a tree, maybe a fungus, maybe maybe a fish, who knows? But the point is that you were assembled. The question is, what assembled you? Did you assemble yourself? So we know the human body is... But what assembled you? What assembled your body?
So the body was assembled in the womb.
Okay, that's where it was assembled.
Mm-hmm.
Who assembled it? And who assembled the womb?
So the body is being assembled because that's the process. That's the process that the body goes through in a woman.
You're not answering the question. You're just describing a process.
Yeah.
Well, you could do that all day long.
What's the question?
The question is, what assembles life?
I mean, I've thought about this, but then I'm not able to get to any answer other than I don't know.
Well, see, but that's you need to know more, is what I'm saying. Because you can get further than I don't know. I didn't cover that in college.
Mm-hmm.
It's by the process of learning and stretching your mind and contemplating things that you don't understand. See, you don't understand it, and what you're saying is, I don't know, so that's the end of it. When it should be, I need to contemplate that more.
Mm-hmm. I think what I was thinking was, or wondering, well, is there another way to figure this out that is more like concrete or more?
You can take some 5-MeO DMT, I suppose, and that would certainly shake up your worldview quite a bit.
But then a drug-induced experience.
And I didn't. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
But I don't. But at least right now, it feels like I won't be able to trust a drug-induced experience, anyways.
What do you trust?
Not a drug-induced experience.
No, I know what you don't trust. You just told me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you trust?
So an experience that happens when I'm sober and I'm not hallucinating.
Okay, have you had any of those?
No.
Okay, well, keep at it. Next question. Now, look, the 5-MeO is not to create some experience that you're supposed to believe in. It just shakes up your understanding of what reality is made of. LSD does the same thing, and hallucinogenic mushrooms can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not as dramatic as the DMT,
Mm-hmm.
but once you realize, wait a minute, they're not joking. This is not a material world at all.
Mm-hmm.
And once that sinks in, then you loosen up a little bit. You go, wait a minute, maybe I don't know shit,
Mm-hmm.
which is the case. You don't know shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to first, somehow or another, get to the realization that you're living in a non-material world. And then all these other things are easier to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you're living in the Stone Age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to discuss, rocket propulsion.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do that. It just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So you think your body's material,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels that way. That's how we describe how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
But your mind is playing a big trick on you. I thought we got over this with Donald Hoffman. Maybe not. All right.
No, but even the Donald Hoffman thing. So like his whole theory is lying on on one fact, which is evolution. Evolution is
No, it's not a theory. I don't care about the theories. I care about the models.
Yeah,
the models they're not supposed to be reality. They're just something that help you understand. It's like taking one step towards reality. So I couldn't care less about his evolutionary theory. What I want to know is, do you understand why the physical world is more like icons on the desktop than reality? That's all.
So
you're missing the point because you don't want to find it. So you won't, as long as you have the attitude, I'm not going to find it, which is what you believe. and nobody knows that these people are full of crap. Okay, well, fine. Then tell me what you do trust, and then tell me what you do believe. But I think you believe that the body is material. I think you believe you have a material body in a material world. So we got to get you unstuck from that. The Buddhists are the best. They do it very systematically, but you got to go with the program. And interdependent origination is the beginning of that. All right, next question.
Okay, and the next one is, this one is from the chapter Clear Eyes. It says,
do you see now how the death of a body or the death of your body or the death of my body is something totally different if it was never material or physical to begin with?
So if this is like not a material world, if it's something else, a mental world or some other kind of world, then the thing that I'm calling I
is something totally different than what you imagine.
Yeah, something totally.
You're calling this very puny little frightened thing I. This little puny separate I. You're calling that. That's what you're reducing yourself to.
Yeah.
So that's a hard way to live.
Yeah.
And then what happens to this scared, separate self when the body dies in your world? That's the end of you, I guess. But once you realize that this world is not material, and you should by now, right? Unless you're being obstinate, you just don't want to believe it. But once you see the world as it more closely to what it is, then these other things will be much easier for you to accept.
But the problem is that believe. I don't want to believe.
Nobody's trying to talk you into anything. I'm trying to teach you how to reach your own conclusions. Is there some belief you think I want you to have that I'm trying to give you?
No, when you use the phrase, so like when you said that I'm not willing to believe that the world is not material. So
that's what it feels like.
Yeah, but then.
And it's very hard to do that. It's hard to give up that idea.
I think I'm open to that as long as there's some evidence for it. Like, I don't want to believe in something. It's like
No, you're the one who has to give evidence, my friend. You're the one who believes the crazy things, right?
Yeah.
You're the one who needs evidence for your material world and your separate self. And then of course, in your world, then you die, you suffer, you're dead. That's it. So, there's nothing to talk about. But you're the one who needs to provide evidence. It's not the other way around. This is the 21st century.
So
most of the physicists, or a lot of them, and the computationalists are saying we live in a computer simulation. A simulation. And you're still in the, I don't know, that world is long gone, the physical world.
But all those people are still afraid of death.
No, they're not. Not all of them.
With the most people I have listened to who talk about this stuff, they say that.
Okay, well, what does that have to do with you or me? Like I said, I think the computer simulation is a silly idea, first of all. And at some level, maybe they understand that, and that's why they're still afraid. I don't know, but I don't think it's relevant to this discussion.
No, the difference is between having a belief or theory versus actual experience of it.
See, you live in this world where there's belief and there's theory and there's nothing else. This is what the Sufis call knowledge, by the way. It's not a belief and it's not a theory. It's another category. Beliefs are meant to be spread to other people, I suppose. Beliefs are just opinions. What's the difference between a belief and an opinion?
A belief and an opinion are pretty much the same because they are
Okay,
not.
so we have opinions, and then you said we have theories. What's the difference between a theory and an opinion?
The theory, if not proven, then it's the same as an opinion.
Okay, so it's not proven. That's why it's called a theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So far, we just have a big bucket of opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you want me to provide evidence. You're the one who needs to provide the evidence.
No. It's not your job to provide the evidence.
I know what you're saying. I'm just talking in terms of this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Give me evidence of the material world, and then we'll talk.
So I'm saying that I can't find an evidence for a material world, but then I also can't find an evidence for a mental world.
Who said mental? You keep describing something you don't know anything about.
Or mental.
It's not a belief. It's not an opinion. And it's not mental.
Okay, I think that was the.
That's why you need the Wolfram, perhaps.
Yeah, that was the wrong phrase. But I can't find an evidence for the material world. But then I also can't find an evidence for whatever the other thing is. But then
okay, in my opinion, this is an opinion. Mm-hmm. You need to either give up or you need to open up and approach it from another perspective and be genuinely curious and genuinely dedicated to the enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that gets rewarded is sincere dedication. Or in some cases, it's called devotion.
Mm-hmm.
In other cases, it's called single-mindedness.
Mm-hmm.
In other cases, it's called driving all efforts into one.
Mm-hmm.
In others, it's being willing to die for the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's 1,000 ways to describe this essential ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
And the 10 dedications, right? And then, from the flower ornament scripture,
mm-hmm.
or the what is it called? The significance of the initial determination for enlightenment,
mm-hmm.
or something like that. That book also, they're dedicated to that for a reason. Mm-hmm. So, okay, next question.
Yeah, the next one is from the chapter Clear Eyes.
Clear Eyes, right?
Yeah.
And what was the title of the last one?
The last one was Equality.
Equality, right?
Yeah.
Okay, equality.
Yeah.
All right, keep going. Next.
Yeah, so in this one, it reads, people with clear eyes do not settle complacently into fixed ways. The reason you haven't attained this in everyday life is simply that your eyes are not clear. If your eyes were clear, you would have attained it. That is why it is said that people with clear eyes are hard to find. As soon as you say, this is thus and so, that is a complacent fixation. People with clear eyes are not like this. So,
nice.
So they're kind of saying that the true reality cannot be experienced or cannot be described.
That's not what I get from it. They're saying that it keeps unfolding. It's mystery upon mystery. And the further you go, the more you know, and the more there is to know.
Mm-hmm.
This dance of the electrons across the ocean, let's say it's across the ocean, mm-hmm. and it's going up to a satellite, mm-hmm. 25,000 miles in the sky, mm-hmm. and then coming back down and being refracted by something or other. Mm-hmm. And you think you know what you're talking to, but you don't. Mm-hmm. And so just contemplating that for a moment, what is this really? And in a non-material world, without space, right? Mm-hmm. Without time, in its fundamental sense, then how do we even begin to approach it? Mm-hmm. So here's where Einstein, you got to have Einstein too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then bit by bit, these pieces start falling together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think what he's saying is there's no fixed point from which the people with clear eyes stand. I mean, they don't feel a need for that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not their experience. Everything keeps unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question.
The next one is from the chapter Finding Certainty.
Oh, good. That's something you're always looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Let's hear what this one says.
Yeah.
Finding certainty. That sounds great. Go ahead.
So in this one, it says, once you have eaten that. Okay, let me start a little bit from the back. Yeah. So it's
No. Read. How long is it?
So if I go to the root of it, it's gonna be, I think, maybe like one page.
Read it.
Okay.
Slowly, carefully.
Okay. So it says, the original Zen masters are real true friends. Ha ha ha. One can only say this much. If you understand, you can have the experience yourself. Then you will have something to act on. If you get involved in rationalizations, comparisons, and verbalizations, then you do not understand and you cannot experience it yourself. When you are going about and doing your chores, do you see that the original Zen masters are real true friends? Since you don't see, when asked about it, you get flustered. Where is the problem? The problem lies in the fact that you are always coming from the midst of conceptual comparisons and do not personally attain experience. All of you go sit on benches, close your eyes, and demolish your thinking all the way from the Milky Way above to Hades below before you can make a statement or two. But when you get to a quiet place, you still don't get the ultimate point. Before your eyes is nothing but things that obstruct people. Lightly questioned, you cannot reach the aim. Right now, let's base the discussion on realities. We mustn't talk at random. For the moment, let me ask you this. When you haven't eaten anything at all for 3 days, can you be active? Certainly you cannot be active. Only after eating something can you be active. If so, it is all food energy. But when you get here, but when you get here, if you want to find suitable people, first it is necessary to see that which is not food energy. Zen should be studied in this way. This alone is called finding certainty. Once you have eaten, that should sustain you as you take this matter up and look into it. But you are totally ignorant of this matter. Instead, you try to apply it in idleness, discussing right and wrong, focusing on useless things, either thinking about them or trying to demolish them. What a pity, it's all misapplication. You do not realize that as soon as you aim your mind, you are already a generation too late. In an instant, you have flowed into ideation, which forms the root of birth and death. Furthermore, if you don't know, even while physically alive, where will you seek after your material body dissolves? In recent days, there are those who just sit there as they are. At first they are alert, but after a while they doze. 9 out of 10 sit there snoozing. How miserable! If you do not know how to do the inner work, how can you expect to understand by sitting rigidly? This is not the way it is. How can you see? When Dangxia held up a whisk, Layman, Layman Pang held up a hammer. When Dangxia tossed his whisk down, Layman Pang put his hammer down. The next day, Layman Pang said, how do you interpret yesterday's case? Dangxia relaxed and declined. Layman Pang left. Are these not real no's? How could this admit of your arbitrary explanations or permit you to add explanatory footnotes. Also, Yanto said, these who cultivate purification must let it come forth from their own hearts, in each individual situation, covering the entire universe. How can this be quiet sitting and meditating? My teacher said, when you sleep, study Zen as you sleep. At meals, study Zen as you eat. An ancient also said, when you sit, there's a logic of when you sit. When you stand, there's a logic of when you stand. Have you not read how Taozi asked Kuiwei, can I hear the secret message of Zen? Kuiwei stood and looked around. Taozi said, I don't understand a hidden statement. Please give me another indication. Kuiwei said, you want to get soused with a second ladle of foul water? Taozi was thereupon enlightened. You people have not attained the experience, so you miss quite a few good things in the course of a day. That is why I say the original Zen masters are real true friends. The path of the original Zen masters is like the bright sun in the blue sky. Why are there people losing the way?
Very nice. He's coming down hard. I mean, it makes me wonder: should I get some foul water and throw it at you? It might work better than arguing about what's evidence based and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, questions. What's your question about that? There's a lot in there.
Yeah, so in this chapter, it seems to be that they are saying that thinking or analyzing will not get to the truth.
He's right, especially for back then. Because, for example, the concept of evidence based
Mm-hmm.
and the concept of this or that,
Mm-hmm.
this knowledge is not conceptual. Now, I'm guilty of many sins, and one of them is that I happen to like philosophy, and it's not my fault, but science has made a lot of advances in the last 20 years, basically in giving up on their outdated models
Mm-hmm.
of the universe and of matter and of energy. I mean, how much dark energy is there in the universe? That's the AI.
Mm-hmm.
Ask it.
It says current estimates based on observations from sources indicate that dark energy makes up approximately 68 to 70% of the universe's total energy density.
68 to 70%, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So keep that number in mind. How much dark matter?
It's saying recent estimates derived from observations show that dark matter constitutes approximately 26 to 27% of the universe's total mass energy content.
Okay. So now, most of will you agree with this statement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, what do we know? What is dark matter and what is dark energy? The answer is we have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
The matter seems to curve light like it has gravity or something, but we have no idea what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're living in a universe where the most of it, we have no idea what it is.
Mm-hmm.
No idea.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the AI has something really clever to say that's brand new about dark energy. What does it say about dark energy?
About dark energy, it said,
what is it?
Dark energy is a mysterious form of energy.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a mystery. So yeah. I've given you evidence that the majority of the universe is still a mystery.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, In that passage, he talked about food energy. Did he not?
Yeah.
And then he wanted to know, but what about the other energy? Now, what is the other energy? That he's referring to?
He's referring to something else that also animates people other than
Could that energy be life? Could that energy be consciousness? What's the difference between life and consciousness? Must you have life to have consciousness? These are the kinds of questions that arise, right? Where you start to think about these things seriously.
Yeah.
So you've heard of qi, right? The Chinese energy, hidden energies.
Yeah.
And the Tibetans describe these.
Yeah.
I've experienced them, and you can too. With some effort, I'll teach you how to do it. Maybe you'll be able to. And then there's the Hindus. I imagine you have your own energies hidden somewhere.
Yeah, they talk about
the chakras and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, they talk about kundalini and chakras.
All right, so we don't know. You don't know whether or not these are the same thing or if they're reporting to something different altogether. And we don't know, is this a life force that people used to talk about? Is this the hand of God? Is this related to the majority of our universe, which is dark matter? There's no reason to think so, but who knows? I mean, if most of the universe is unknown and the rest of it is expanding at different rates depending on where you are in the universe, we don't know anything. And so there's a certain amount of humility that you have to approach these studies with. And what he's saying to these kids is that they're being sloppy. He's in a Zendo, right? He's talking to monks. Yeah. At least for the summer. And some of them are falling asleep and the other ones aren't paying attention. And they're not doing things in a manner in which they're going to gain the experience that they need for knowledge. And so you must always be on your guard, and you must always, it has to be like a hot coal in your brain. When you wake up, it's Dharma. When you brush your teeth, it's Dharma. When you eat, it's Dharma. Everything's Dharma. For you right now, and that may take a little conscious effort on your part right now, but then later, it's just as natural as breathing. And what becomes amazing is that there could be the illusion of a physical world altogether. But in order for you to answer the question, what happens when you die, you have to know what you are first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's the name of this game. All right, next question. Unless you have something else on that passage.
I think from like in that
the Zen masters get frustrated. They travel a long way and they're traveling on on foot or on an ox or something, a cart or something. They travel halfway across China, and the students are lazy and not studying right and poorly taught. I mean, what the hell's going on here? Because there's a lot of fake Zen too, right? Even back then.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
So another thing I feel like that this chapter is saying is that finding certainty is possible only after a true experience. Without experience, it's it's like it's not true. Whatever we're gonna come up with.
No, it means that whatever you're going to come up with is going to be a belief, an opinion, a theory, a model. It's going to be your mind's imagination. All of those things are basically the same thing. So when you say you want an evidence-based theory, in order to collect evidence, it has to be based on some theory, right? Because what constitutes evidence?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, evidence is basically like a material proof of a theory, a
Okay,
practical
so
proof.
then what happens when they applied that to quantum mechanics? Do you know anything about the observer effects
In the double slit?
in the double slit or in any quantum experiment?
Yeah.
What happens if there's one observer might see one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but another observer sees something else?
Mm-hmm.
So which one has the evidence?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this all observer? Is this somehow or another, in some very mysterious way, observer dependent?
So in the double slit experiment that I studied, it was that when an observer is placed, then the wave function collapses, and then with that, uh, it behaves like a particle. But then it doesn't say that with different observer it leads to different pattern, because that is indeterministic.
Okay, first of all, the whole notion of a wave collapsing,
Mm.
that's just all statistical modeling. There's no wave function out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way that they mathematically modeled.
Yeah, that's just a way to
Okay, so
to
there's
say
no
that.
real such thing as a wave function.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think if you look further into it, I think you're going to find that it's more complicated.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What if there are two observers?
Yeah, I haven't read that part about having different observers.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So basically, what you need to cultivate, what everybody should cultivate, is a curiosity about the world. Now these days with YouTube, which I hope you have a subscription to,
Mm-hmm.
do you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay. You could just dial up and some of them are obviously bogus, but some are very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn to tell the difference,
Mm-hmm.
and you go for the good stuff. And so there's a lot you can learn, and it's painless now.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have to walk to the library
Mm-hmm.
and then spend literally 4 hours looking for the books,
Mm-hmm.
collect all the books, and then Xerox the studies.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd wasted like 6 hours of my day just getting the materials to study, to read.
Mm-hmm.
So now with AIs and YouTube, you don't have any excuse. You can just ask a reasonable AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, truth is truth. It doesn't matter whether you get there scientifically, philosophically, analytically,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to make it your highest priority.